Next is a butterfly spread strategy. So a butterfly spread strategy involves three options. Actually, technically, it's four options because we have purchased two options and we have sold two options. So understanding the structure of this strategy, that is, we purchase a call at K1, we purchase a call at K3, and we are selling two calls at K2. And generally, K2 is taken at the midpoint of K1 and K3. So that way, we can say K2 is the average of K1 and K3. Now, all of these options, so I would say, so rather than both, we can say all of these options, all options have a maturity capital T. The investor is expecting lower volatility here. That is, investor is expecting the volatility or the asset price to remain range bound. That is, we are expecting the asset to stay somewhere between K1 and K3 in order to generate the payoff. So how exactly that works, we'll understand. Now, as long as the asset price stays between K1 and K3, we are going to generate a certain positive payoff. So we'll understand how that gets earned as well. If the asset price breaches either K1 or K3, that is either of both the boundaries, then in this case, the overall payoff is going to be zero. So that's why we say that the investor is expecting a lower volatility. If there is too much of volatility in the underlying asset, and if it breaches any of these boundaries, K1 and K3, then that is not going to generate any payoff. Generally, K2 is chosen as the average, as we mentioned earlier. Also, shorting two calls is going to help bring down the overall amount of premium outflow because we have purchased two options. So we have sold two options at K2 in order to compensate for the premium outflow which has happened. Now, understanding the payoff diagram with the respective payoff equations. So again, now here we are going to have four scenarios: one, two, three, and four. So that way, the first scenario we have a zero payoff because if the stock price is below K1, naturally all of these call options are out of the money. So they are not going to generate any payoff. So there will be a zero payoff for scenario one. Similarly, for scenario 4 as well, the payoff comes out to be zero. So we'll come to that in a moment. For scenario 2, ST between K1 and K2, then the call at K1 will be in the money. So that gets exercised. But otherwise, the other two call options are out of the money. In the third scenario, where stock price is between K2 and K3, then the call at K1 and the call at K2 get exercised because they are in the money, but the call at K3 is not. So that's why this remains a zero. So we have a ST minus K1 for the call at K1. We have a ST minus K2 for K2. And here you observe there is a multiple -2. That is because we have sold two call options at K2. That's why the factor -2 into bracket the payoff. And in the scenario number 4, all of the options are in the money. So we'll have a payoff for all of them. Now, in order to solve this equation, we'll replace K2 by K1 plus K3. So while solving scenarios 3 and scenario 4, we are going to replace K2 as an average of K1 and K3. And after solving that, we get the payoff for scenario 3 as K3 minus ST. And for scenario 4, the overall payoff is zero. So this is simply plugging in the value for K2. So that way we observe that for scenarios 1 and 4, the overall payoff remains zero. So that way, as long as the underlying asset stays between K1 and K3, it is going to generate a certain positive payoff. So this is what we call as a butterfly spread strategy. Now we can have a butterfly strategy using put options as well. So here we are going to have a total of four put options. That is, we are purchasing two put options and we are selling two other put options. The strategy is very, very similar to the call option case. That is, we are purchasing the puts at K1 and K3 and we are selling two puts at K2. So here as well, the investor expects that volatility is going to be low. That is, the asset is going to remain between K1 and K3 at expiry in order for this strategy to generate a positive payoff. Now, just like the previous case, in the extreme scenarios whereby the stock price breaches K1 or K3, that is scenario 1 or scenario 4 like last time, this is going to generate a zero payoff. Whereas as long as we are remaining between K1 and K3, this is going to generate a certain positive payoff. So the analysis remains exactly similar to a call option, and similar to our earlier exercise, K2 will be between K1 and K3, and otherwise the overall analysis remains absolutely the same.